happiness through curiosity on TRS Clips. Keeping India in mind, let's make a few national predictions and let's make a few international geopolitical predictions.
Right.
Keeping the Modi government in mind. First basic question is the Modi government going to stay in power over most
Yes.
of the next decade or
I think so.
Yeah. Likely, very likely.
I think so.
I mean, no matter what happens.
No, I think
it's
that
just-
will remain the case.
And anyone who doesn't think so needs to travel in the interiors of the country to just understand what the human population is there.
Yeah. And I think that in the spirit of helping Bharat, people should become more demanding of the Modi government, saying that now we are not afraid that you will lose power, but we want you to raise yourself to the next level. It's no longer, okay, we've done great in the Article 370, we built the temple, we've done a lot of infrastructure, but we have to change the education policy. The NCERT books haven't been changed. The UPSC exams are still colonial syllabus. We're still teaching the wrong things. The IS people, the way they are trained, the foreign service people, the way they are trained is still the old system. So the machinery of government is still in the hands of bureaucrats who are not new kind of people. Maybe a small percentage of new blood has come in, but a lot of the thinkers are still of the old guard.
But what would you rather have them think like?
Well, I think that, for example, the education policy should be very different. A major flaw in the education policy is, while they are very good for STEM education, science, technology, engineering, math, those kind of medicine, for liberal arts and humanities, they're importing Western human rights, social justice. So the humanities and liberal arts is being widely imported from the West.
Which will bring Western ideas and philosophy which are not conducive to India.
Which will bring Western social sciences. And a lot of the problems we are facing, whether it's the BBC government or Wall Street Journal article or somebody accusing us of not having religious freedom, whatever, it comes from the fact that they're using Western social sciences, Western sociology, Western models of society. Whereas we have our own, but we are not using those. The sociology taught in India is not based on our social thought, but based on Western social thought.
You'll have to break this down further.
So social thought is like in natural sciences, you're talking about physics and electrons and how they work, how the microphone works. That is natural science. Social science is the science of society. How does society work? How do people behave? How do they work in groups? Why they fight? Why they don't fight? And what constitutes a good society? So all that's ideas of society are social sciences, broadly speaking. But these ideas that we have been taught in India are the result of European thinking. European thinking about their society, what happened to them. They had a feudal system. The church was an autocratic power. They had to fight it. So they did not have religious freedom. They could not choose, whether to belong to the church or not. So they went through a certain experience, and the social thought is the result of that experience in Europe. We did not have the same experience. Our experience is a different kind of experience. So rather than copying the Western social sciences, we have to create our own social models.
Which has not been done yet?
Which has not been done yet, which requires innovation. So I think that the HRD ministry is failed. HRD ministry and the education policy has not been very good for us. Now they're wanting to bring American and European and Australian universities to set up campuses here, which is even worse. Because they're going to bring all this anti-India the kind of biases on campuses in India, and now it will open the floodgates. You will have even more people, more Indians confused, because right here on our soil, they'll be learning things which are not very good for us.
Okay.
Abhi at least they have to go overseas to learn these things, and not too many people can afford it, but still a large number of people.
I will highlight all the snakes in the Ganges stuff soon. And that's the core of this podcast for me, because I feel it's important for the Indian internet to know about these concepts. Also because not too many people read nowadays, honestly. Like reading, the amount has just gone, the amount of people reading has reduced, which is sad, but it is the reality of our technological times. So I'm going to not move on to that snakes in the Ganges aspect of this podcast now, but I will ask you just your general predictions for our government on a national level and an international level.
So I think nationally the government will be secure. I mean, and that's what I consider. Internationally, we have a lot of clout, not for any other reason than the fact that the other powers are fighting each other. And so we are a big player. And the Indo-Pacific, geographically, the ocean is very important. It's very important for China. And India is a huge country that can actually interfere with that. Pakistan's only value is its geography. Pakistan has rented out its geography first to the Americans, then to various people, now to the Chinese. But India's geography is very special. The way we are located, the way physically we are located in the Indian Ocean is very, very strategic. So India has importance. If India were in a corner of the world, then it would not be that important. So we are kind of underrating the geographical strategic value we have rather than anything else. So we have to capitalize on that. Now, the overall geopolitical situation in the world is going to be defined by the competition between US and China. That will be the defining competition.
Before I let you move on, just explain capitalize on the geographical.
So, we have a huge coastline. We can control with the Andaman Islands. We can control the access between the pathway between the Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean goes through a very narrow channel. Malaysia has it, and Indian Navy can blockade it and do all kind of things. We can also we can project power in the Gulf. So when China is kind of landlocked, they in the sense that they only have access to the Chinese coast, and which is where there's Japan and South Korea and Taiwan, and that's why China is fighting to try and capture that. But south, they really want access to the ocean, Indian Ocean, because most of their energy comes in from there, raw material from Africa comes in from there, and all their exports go through that. So this is why Myanmar is very important for them, and Pakistan is very important for them, and through Iran, they're building other things. So India is kind of like obstructing in the way. If India were part of this one belt, one thing road, it would be bad, but China would feel very happy that they have taken over India also. So this is a geographical strategic importance of India, that it is a country with such a large amount of land, sea, and ports, very high quality ports. Now we are going to build some deep ports in the Andaman Islands, which is very good. So India is a politically, militarily an important country in the world.
And you're saying we're not doing enough from a naval perspective and a sea trade perspective.
Yes, I think, because we have limited financial resources. We have 2 aircraft carriers. China plans to have 10 aircraft carriers in the next 10, 15 years. They're going to build 1 or 2 every couple of years and compete with the US.
So you're basically saying make your weapons in India and get armed up. That's your definition of capitalizing on geography.
Yeah,
basically.
DRDO should invest a lot of money in buying out young Indian high-tech companies, entrepreneurs, start some technology in India, which has defense applications and civilian applications. DRDO has the money, they should buy them out. They have the expertise to evaluate, rather than letting the Google or Amazon or Microsoft buy them out. So today what's happening is, if you and a bunch of guys start something nice and you are successful, it is not DRDO that will buy you out. I don't know why they don't do that. It'll be some foreign guy that will buy them out. So the technology that India needs to develop is, much of it is being done on Indian soil by Indians, but we don't own it. We just give it away. DRDO, I think, is a sleeping giant. In United States, there's something called DARPA, which stands for Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. DARPA is the inventor of so many things, from semiconductors to lasers to fiber optics to internet to driverless cars to quantum computing. So many technological breakthroughs which have military applications. Defense Department funded private sector and academic people to invent these things, and the US government owns rights to it. So this is something we need to do. We need a collaboration between DRDO, the corporate people, and universities that are doing research, so that the next generation of students are part of their training is with the latest R&D. So not only you're learning from textbooks and sitting in class, but you're also involved in a project.
Where are the funds going today instead?
The funds are going to buy the technology rather than make the technology.
Okay, got it. So rather than giving your money to America or China and fueling their economic and colonization-based growth,
yes,
you basically fuel it at home.
Yeah, and if you are spending a lot of our labor to help them out, rather than just making money, you should say, I also want percentage of equity.
Okay.
I want to share in the business.
Okay. So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to TRS Clips for more.